morning, video games. Welcome to Filthy Casuals, a podcast about video games hosted by three very kind and extremely knowledgeable boys. Thank you for joining us. My name is Tommy Dassler, and with me as always...
Ben Vanel here. It's great to be here on a beautiful Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing things a little bit earlier. We moved our scheduling so that we could just have not enough time to look at Gamescom stuff.
Exactly.
We're doing that. You know how like people will set themselves a challenge, like if they're working out, they'll put weights on their arms to make it harder. Mm-hmm. I don't know if that happens in real life because all I know about exercise comes from Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, sure.
My name's Adam Knox, but
yeah. What do they call? It's like resistance training.
You got to get in the chamber. What's that chamber called in Dragon Ball Z?
Oh, yeah.
Time chamber. Yeah, mate.
That's Goku in there jacking off. No one knows. None the wiser.
Jacking off. That's a 30-minute episode of just close up of your face.
This is what a penis looks like flaccid. And this is a penis with an erection.
Yeah.
But this is what it is to go beyond an erection. Blonde hair.
This is
pubes.
a penis with an erection. So the penis has its own penis and it's erect.
The penis can... well, look, I'm not an expert on erections, despite years of trying and screaming at it. But yeah, Gamescom's happening.
Yes.
It is.
Over in Germany, I think.
No.
I think it's in Germany.
I think it's in Germany.
Good for them.
Yeah. About time.
Yep.
And
just good to hype people up with a little announcement the week before saying now there'll be no big reveals. But tickets to this are $200 if you want to come.
And from what I saw, they were telling the truth.
Yep.
There were some things that were like mostly sort of trailers for games that are coming soon, like Lords of the Fallen.
Yep.
And that Sonic game that's
Mortal
coming
Kombat
up.
1, some more character reveals.
There's
some characters from Mortal Kombat. Oh, cool.
Sonic team did a thing where they're like, we're going to have a announcement. This time, they had the exact time it was going to happen at Gamescom. And then the announcement was, here's the pre-order bonus.
Yes.
You can play as Lego Sonic. It's like,
yes.
Okay.
Horse armor. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
They do, because there's that.
Oh, before we get too far into the episode, we can announce something as well
Oh, yeah.
that we're doing.
Oh, in Germany. We're doing PAX Germany this year, being held in Melbourne,
PAX
Australia.
For Austro-Hungarian Empire, I believe.
Yeah, the convention centre, the Germany of Melbourne.
They really say that Melbourne is like the Berlin of Melbourne.
Yes.
Melbourne and Berlin get compared all the time, and I've never been to Berlin, but it makes me not want to go to Berlin for some reason.
Melbourne's the fourth member of this podcast, really.
Yeah, dude, it's so cool how every week you see a little bit more of the city.
Yeah.
Games and the city. So we're doing a panel at PAX.
Yes.
That I think the email said you're penciled in for this time, so maybe we won't say the specific time yet. But
it might move around.
It might
move.
We're
doing something.
Yeah. But I don't. Sometimes people say penciled, meaning permanent marker.
I think it was up to us to confirm.
Okay.
Right.
But
we hold the eraser. They're like, hey, we've penciled this in, but all we have is more pencils. We don't even have a pen.
You could
guys,
grab the paper and eat it still right now.
You've got a pen with an eraser on the other end, which is useless in most scenarios.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be there at PAX Melbourne, Australia, then we'll be doing a panel most likely on the Saturday.
Yeah.
Most likely in the evening.
And I was going to say, I think all the badges are sold anyway, so it kind of doesn't, either you can be there or you can't already.
You could sneak around.
Yeah.
I recommend it.
Your way in.
Yeah.
There'll be people there dressed as things, so you could dress as like a cardboard box and be like, it's a Metal Gear thing, I'm normal.
Yeah.
They'll be like, okay, well, where's your badge? And you'll be like,
exactly.
I'm also dressed as the Invisible Man, but only my accessories are invisible.
You could cosplay as the guy who works at the hot dog stand at the convention centre. Get your way right in there.
Yeah. We don't actually recommend sneaking into PAX.
No. But if you're there, we'll be doing a
while
panel
you're down there.
probably on the Saturday night. So, come to that if you're around. We'll mention that again closer to the time so that you remember it more easily. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I think the last couple of times PAX has happened, either we haven't gone or we did a panel and didn't go spend much time there. I'm keen to spend a lot of time there.
Yeah, I'm going to.
Pick up some fun little things that we can talk about. Bit of review of the weekend and any announcements and shit.
Yeah, I think the last time we went, it was like a really brutal kind of realization of the process of aging, where we all walked into this very loud room and went, "This is too much. We need to go outside for a sit down."
That's
See,
right.
I've had that from day dot when I was like 25 doing this. So like,
Yeah. We're like, where's the quietest place we can sit and eat a shit hamburger? I believe was our actual plan.
that'll be fun though, and we'll be
Yeah.
doing that. We will show you the trailer for the new Sonic game.
Yep.
Which there's the new Sonic game coming this year, but they also showed there's going to be like a big free patch for Sonic Frontiers that seems to be adding some stuff people are excited about.
New story kind of thing,
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe I think.
Like that game, I was almost really cool.
Yeah.
So it'd be good if they like were able to pump it up a little bit, because it did seem as though it was coming off real hot off the
Yeah, I kind
off
of
the
want to go
grill.
back to
Yes.
it. I have a feeling it could be a thing that like you play over summer, like long after the fact, and go, "This is now my favorite game of all time."
Well, good news. There's a patch coming for it soon. They announced that.
Whoa, I just freaked out.
Couple of goldfish over here. Like, wow.
No, I think PAX, like the timing of it this year, because it's like start of October.
Yes.
And there's like so much stuff coming out October, November. So I think it is good timing for like potentially a lot of this stuff being maybe playable on the floor there.
Yeah, true. Yes.
Tekken 8 might be there, because that's coming out January 26th next year. That was a thing from Gamescom as well. And I don't think I ever talked about it on here, but I finagled my way into the Tekken 8 beta that they had like a month ago.
The Tekkenator.
The Tekkenator. Oh. That's what they call me. And
Did they write it like B number 8A?
Nah.
The Tekkenator would be like, I'll be...
Oh, let it be on the controller back.
Yeah.
Oh, back's a good way
I'll
to end
circle
it. Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
It was the PlayStation more formal version, a little more professional. So I played a bit
Corporate
of that.
Arnie. I'll circle back.
Yeah. Yeah, all right.
God damn it! I wish I talked more professionally so I could do more of these. We are pleased to inform you that it is not a tumor. I can't.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
We need you to work on the 6th day. Will that be okay? Saturday.
What about this tumor could have been an email?
Okay.
Yeah. Get to the break room.
Conan the Barbarian is in the office.
That's the best.
Yeah, that's
one.
I put the most effort into that one.
Yes.
I played some of that, and now that they've got an announced date, and I bet it'll be playable at PAX. It's looking good.
Yeah.
It felt fun to play.
Did you play 7?
A bit, not heaps.
Okay.
But some people got really into that. But I definitely played it like when it came out and enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was
And I've
cool. I like
liked
the story and stuff, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Tekken games have always been great, and it was cool how they had the other Tekken games in 7.
Oh, yes.
I love shit like that.
Yes.
And this one seemed fun. It was the fighting game beta thing where there were a bunch of characters in it, but all you could really do was like fight online with people, and that wasn't working great for me at the time when I tried it. So I sort of did some practice fighting against a non-moving enemy.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I won, man.
Nice.
But
Build
it
up your
looked great.
confidence. Yeah.
It felt like Tekken.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that.
Was Heihachi there?
Yes.
Nice.
Heihachi was there. Jin Kazama was there. He's got one wing, sort of in an angelic form, which is a cool original idea.
Yes. I did see, they've brought a couple of characters back from the dead, which they do every now and then, but yeah.
It goes back and forth. I miss Heihachi's dad. The granddad Mishima was in there in Tekken 5.
Oh, I never played 5.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Big lad.
Playing as a big granddad was really cool.
Really
Yeah.
busty granddad.
Oh, so great.
In your
to
area.
Seeing my search terms show up in a game was really fun. So yeah, that'll be cool. They showed like a bit of the Modern Warfare 3 campaign, which looked like it was meant to be an expansion, and then they expanded it to a full release. People are down on that game, and I'm not necessarily sure that I'm not with them.
Right.
Ooh,
That's as
okay.
committal as I'll get to
Yeah.
joining
How
a
many-
Modern Warfare.
It's like a
Call of
quadruple
Duty.
negative.
Yeah, I don't want to align myself too closely with the Call of Duty internet people necessarily.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
Even though secretly I'll do the coded language that we all use
Oh,
on the internet.
Get out that whistle that only dogs can hear.
They showed a bit. It's all stuff like that for the most part. Like,
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of games that, have been announced, but coming closer, there's an Armored Core 6 launch trailer, which they've already put out, an hour of gameplay over the past couple of weeks or
That's
couple
out
of months.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
Once you've got the video with one of the developers kind of talking over the top of it, telling you what they're doing, you don't really need another trailer after that. You know what I mean? That's, to me, that's the final video before
That's
you
the
put
game.
the game out.
Yeah.
There was a moment with because Jeff Keighley was the host of the opening night live thing.
What? He's everywhere now. It's not even his event.
I think he does the opening night live.
Oh, really?
Thing. Yeah.
Fucking
So he
hell.
goes to Gamescom and he's like, "Yeah, I'll start it."
Why
Don't
hasn't
worry."
the FTC got a hold of Jeff Keighley? He's got a monopoly on this shit.
Give him a monocle? I say.
Give us a monopoly. Give us the Monopoly game.
I knew it. The leftists are only interested in fairness because they want to get above. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be a rehash of. So he was talking to Todd Howard on the stage about
sure.
Starfield that is coming out soon, and was like, "Now, Todd, isn't it pretty funny that people have already made character creation versions of you?" Which he seemed a bit surprised by because that footage is from copies of the game that people shouldn't be playing and sharing yet.
Oh,
How?
right.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he was like, "Huh, yeah, man.
Pretty
The
weird
FTC is going to get a ring later, even
Yeah.
though they'll probably not have anything to do with it."
Pretty weird how that guy fucked your wife last week, hey? In front of a live audience.
There was another stage rushing guy.
Oh, yeah.
all the
right.
same
The
sort
same
of shit
guy,
happened.
right?
No, different guy.
Oh, different guy? I, thought it
I
was
think
the
a
same
different guy.
Yeah, right. Well, they also, there was an announcement of Little Nightmares 3.
Yes.
Which is pretty cool. The first two are really good.
It has been made by different people
Yep.
now. The first two, don't remember the name of that developer, I'm sorry. But this one has been made by Supermassive, who are The Quarry and those ones.
Oh, right.
Right.
So that they're...
Until Dawn.
Yes.
Yes.
Those guys, all the various men of Medan, that looked fine to me. It still looked and they were able to capture horror movie tropes so well in those
Yes.
things that they clearly are able to take something outside of themselves and deliver a version of it well.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
It's
So
such a strong aesthetic in those games that, just taking that and building on that.
yeah, because I saw people being a bit worried about that too. But I think it's just because people don't like change, myself included. But I'm willing to accept it in the world of video games, which is why I'm so drawn to them. It lets me experience it safely.
There was
So
also
that looked cool to me.
an announcement of a cool looking little hand-drawn sort of platformer called Thank Goodness You're Here.
Yeah.
Put out by Panic. Really cool style to it. Looks neat. Looks kind of, you were saying off air, Adam, that Cartoon Networky sort of style.
Ben picked it up first. Ben was first.
Yeah,
with
I
that
showed
scoop.
it to Adam, and then he said, "Yeah, Cartoon Network."
But the first person,
It was a collab.
yeah. Adam X Ben thinks this looks like a cartoon.
Yeah.
So that's the same. The Goose Game people are publishing it, but not developing it. Is that right?
It's
Yeah.
British developers. Which, again, we were like, Tommy
Yeah.
pointed this out.
Well, now it's Tommy X Ben.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, it looks like it's set in a British town. I thought it would be maybe made by British people, and then it is."
Yeah.
I confirmed it doing research.
Well, because initially we thought it was made by the Goose Game people. And
yes.
for anyone overseas, there's a show here that's just returned
Yeah.
to massive fanfare called Thank God You're Here.
The second it was on, seeing Aaron Chen is trending on Twitter.
Yeah,
yes.
Cool, good job, Aaron.
Maybe
Yeah.
one of the most popular comedy shows that's ever been on here.
yeah, it's
And
it's our Whose Line Is It Anyway, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of.
Went away for a while and then it's just recently back. So we were saying it was kind of odd / funny that an Australian dev would cheekily call their game a sort of similar name. But yeah, this looks cool.
I think they tried international versions back when the Australian one was popular too.
Yeah.
I bet they did.
yeah.
They did a US version that was it? I think it might have been Jason Alexander hosting it.
Praise God you're here. In America, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love that these two games got announced and then it's a week ago you have them going. There'll be no There'll be no big reveals at this Gamescom. Don't get too excited. And it's like you're working on Little Nightmares 3, which is like, come on, man, it's got its fans.
It's got a whole extra digit added to the end. This is a new game. Fuck you, Jeff.
Yeah.
The FTC's getting another phone call.
Well, there was no Kojima game, so, for Jeff, that's what that means.
He
I
did
gotta tell
announce when the Game Awards will be, which, guess what? Same time as every year, like December 7th or something.
I've never watched a Game Awards because they're always on the same weekend as a music festival that I go to every year, and I don't get any reception down there. So for the amount that we talk about Jeff Keighley on this podcast, I actually have no idea what he looks like. I've never seen him in action. I've reported on things that he said and done after the fact, because I get back from Meredith and I just watch the trailers. I'm not sitting through the whole show, and that might be the biggest chasm of anyone in my life that I talk about and yet have no idea what they look like. And you know what? I want to leave it that way.
Okay.
Don't try and tag me in any photos of him or send them over Instagram.
This is
You're
like,
gonna
don't want to know.
trolled so hard.
when people play like Whamageddon around Christmas time, that's you with Jeff Keighley trying to avoid seeing him in a shopping center.
No, totally. Or if I ever do see him, I'm going to have that thing that we get all the time where people are like, oh, I've listened for 4 years and I finally saw photos of you.
You all look fucked.
Never pictured you as disgusting.
Yeah.
me meeting Jeff Keighley and being like, you look so different to how I thought you would look based on me talking about you and never engaging with anything you've
Have you
you've
seen
recorded.
the Schick Hydro bot?
I've seen the Schick Hydro bot, yeah.
That's funny.
Dude,
I've
he
seen
looks like
dozens and dozens of hours of Jeff Keighley live, direct to the eyes.
Yeah.
And he's good at what he does.
He is. Yes, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
He looks like Alan Tudyk.
The people
okay.
of like
You son of a bitch.
the people who regularly host things as well, like, the Jimmy Kimmel to the Oscars type of thing. I think he's one of the most consistent, unannoying hosts, despite the fact that all of the shows he's a part of are ad machines churned out constantly, which you got to make your money somehow, and in the middle of this podcast we'll demonstrate.
Absolutely.
But
We'll do him funnier than Jeff Keighley, though.
definitely I'd fall over halfway through all of our ad reads.
Yeah, it's good shit.
Just for a bit of a laugh.
I do love the guy. There's Nintendo had this guy in the 90s who, I forget his name, but he was kind of...
Mario?
He started out... Yeah.
We'll get to him.
We'll get to him.
Okay.
He started out as like a playtester, and then they would just kind of like wheel him out at public events. What's his fucking name?
No, I don't remember, but I think I've had him in the intros to this sometime.
Right,
Because he
then
would
ended
do
up-
all of the, like, when the news back in the 90s was like, now, why the fuck is anyone giving a shit about a video game?
Yes.
Yeah.
He'd be like, well...
The kids are calling him Mario.
And it's all these people being like, did you go to college? Like, how come you're doing this?
Oh,
Are you
yeah,
a
that
fucking
guy.
He was
loser?
Nintendo's Games Master was his official title. Like he ended up like hating that role because he liked playing the video games, and he was like a playtester, and he would write guides for them. And then because so much of his schedule became going around to shopping centers and stuff, he just had less time to actually play the game. So he was like, I'm the guy that everyone knows as the Nintendo man, but I'm actually really sad because now I have less time to play my Nintendos. And then he ended up going and working for Sega. They poached him.
Whoa.
Yeah, he bailed. And
The ultimate traitor.
I know, yeah. They were
It's like going over to the Soviet Union.
yeah, they were like, we'll get him where it really hurts.
Yeah.
This old man wearing a bow tie. That was his thing. He'd come out in a little bow tie. People would be like, wow, this guy knows everything about video games.
Maybe the guy
yeah.
I'm thinking of is a different guy. I don't remember if this was from Gamescom, but it was around the same time. Like, there was some more stuff about those that like port collection of Metal Gear Solid that's coming soon.
Oh, yeah, a whole
the
bunch of...
Master Collection, Volume 1.
So good. A lot of outlets got a little hands-on time with it.
Right.
An hour of only the Switch version, which has been kind of a thing that's been mentioned a lot in these previews. Is like, why did they only let us go hands-on? I guess that is a good way of getting out of the way people's queries about how these games are going to run on the Switch. If you give people the hands-on with that, and the assumption is they'll run better on the other ones.
So, but it did lead to them having to clarify that the relatively dog shit way they ran on the Switch will not apply to the other consoles much. But it like it's and it's not surprising that because the state of what Konami is these days. But like they seem like as quicker job of a bunch of ports as you could. And there's like cool stuff in there. Like there's all these art books and whatever, and like all the different versions of games. But then like so Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 are from the HD collection, which came out in like 2012. And on the screen, it still says like HD collection, copyright 2012, Konami.
Right.
Stuff like
No
that level
update,
of...
yeah. Like
and so on the Switch, it's like the worst these games have ever run, worse than the PS2 and like the Vita ports and everything. Like dropping down from 30 sort of frames and 720p type of thing, and then on the PS5 it's like 1080p and whatever. They're old games, so like that's not worse than how they were initially presented in those PS5 versions, but it's like, oh yeah, this is a quick fucking...
The consensus seems to be that like so much care has gone into the bonus content, all the art books and the like. I think the old NES games are on there as well. Yeah. So people are really...
and that's... they're like a separate download in European regions and stuff. Like they had to go to the effort of getting the licenses for these games that weren't like the same group of people. For this is like Metal Gear on the NES and then Snake's Revenge, which is like not a like canon Metal Gear thing, but it is really cool that all that stuff's in there, and it's a shame that these will be like not kind of definitive versions. That's what you look for.
That's what the consensus seems to be. Like a lot of love and care has gone into the extra stuff, like the bonus material. So it's like, well, but can't you put that into the games? The games are the thing that really, really matter. Yeah. So, yeah. But hey, speaking of...
really shot him in the fucking foot, showing the Switch version, then having to be like, no, not all of them are as fucked.
Yeah.
Some of them run slightly better than the Vita versions did.
But I guess, good to get that out of the way rather than that be the thing when they launch. Because, I've been playing... speaking of slapdash ports... I've been playing Red Dead Redemption 1 on the Switch, and it's just a straight up port. It's probably too much for some people, the price tag of it, given that. But I'm having a really good time with it. It holds up in a story and perform. I think that's the main thing that Rockstar really nail is their performances, the performances that they get out of their voice actors and the direction of it, and then the script that they're working with is the thing that I think really helps a lot of their stuff stay evergreen and kind of allow you to overlook the fact that, it's like a PS3 era open world game. So it's the beginning of it is very like, this quest is now just go to this part of the map and do this. Now this second quest is go to this part of the map that's in a different direction and do, it's just like very, very slowly and sort of inelegantly just like showing you all the different areas. But it's good. It runs well on the Switch. I kind of feel like maybe their priority was, we want this game to be available on the Switch, which is probably part of why they didn't bother to do any extra work to it, because if you soup it up for the PS4 and 5, then you are going to be putting an inferior version out on the Switch, or it might not run as well. So I can kind of see the logic in just going, just put out these two versions that are kind of at parity. Like we won't, if we do too much to it, then we're going to have to work out how we get that to run on the Switch. And that's then even more work on top of that.
I saw a thing that was like someone got the Switch version running at 60 frames on the Switch, on like a hacked Switch.
Like a hacked Switch, yeah.
But that was like overclocking the whatever innards of the Switch. So kind of not what Rockstar could have done. I'm sure Nintendo doesn't go like, hey, go nuts. Yeah. Tear it apart. Who gives a shit?
The battery will run down in 5 minutes.
Yeah, overheat the cunt. We don't care. We got the Switch 2 coming, baby.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I read this thing about in Tears of the Kingdom, the Blood Moon thing that that respawns all the enemies, and it's set to an actual clock in terms of inside the game. I think it's like 160 minutes or something. Every 160 minutes it happens, but it also will happen to free up memory with the Switch.
Oh,
if there's too much stuff going on,
yeah.
So you can trigger it, and I read all this stuff about ways that people are like trying to get it to kick in as quickly as possible.
If you like put a million bananas everywhere, then at some point the game will be like, you've got too many bananas.
Or like the Lionel bow that shoots 3 arrows at once, and if you attach like the thing that you can attach that makes like water come off the arrow when you shoot it.
Hydrants.
So if you're shooting 3 of them at once, and then it's like doing all this splashing effects all at once, the game goes, All right,
It's
chill
night
out. We
time
need
now.
a reset. But yeah, it's like I am not. I don't feel like I've paid too much for this game. I've never played it before.
Yeah.
It holds up from an experience point of view. I think I'm going to get a lot of hours out of it. So in the sense of, I do feel like it's a good return on investment. Like I know technically speaking, like it's an old game. It is pretty lazy, but I think if you just want to experience the first game, it holds up. It's cool playing it sort of like chronologically in the order from having played 2 and now playing this, and it's cool to see all that stuff. And yeah, I do wish it was in the same engine as 2, and it had 2 looked so beautiful, and there are a couple of moments in this where like I'm riding around and the ground textures are so muddy and you're like, it would be nice to have this all in the same world and looking as good as 2 did. But it's I think it is, if you just as an experience of playing the game, I think I think it holds up. It plays really well, especially if you treat it as a Switch game that you can take portably. Although it is kind of the same thing with the Konami, like not even updating the year on the title screen.
Right.
I don't mind the multiplayer stuff not being in there. I don't have any interest in engaging with it. I know some people are mad about that. That I can kind of understand not being in there. But then in the opening credits, it's all coming up and it's still got like multiplayer director. And
right.
it like that kind of annoys me more than the multiplayer not being in there. It's just like the laziness of like, well,
but then
you're referring to something that's not in this package.
They'd also
like,
get in trouble for not crediting the people who worked on
Yes.
the original game.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
people do get in trouble for that sort of thing now too.
Yes.
that's the thing that weirdly just like sticks out to me and irks me more. Like the not updating the ports in Metal Gear Solid is one thing, but the like not even having a like fresh copyright screen on the thing, or like sometimes they haven't even like changed the labels for the buttons when it's like push.
Right.
It's just still referring back to like what the button was on the original console. That
Looking
sort of
for
stuff
memory
annoys
card.
me.
I mean,
Yeah,
never
well,
mind.
it does a little bit of that. Like you turn it on and it's like, could not find a save file for Red Dead Redemption. Would you like to start one? It's like, what game ever asks you this? It's just like,
These days,
yeah.
With the Switch version for sure, like as a port, it's like, that is about what the Switch can handle. I get with the PS5 and whatever, it'd be nice for it to be higher resolution and stuff. But
I think their priority just was, let's get this on a console that is going to reach a fresh batch of people who
the Switch
probably weren't
especially,
ever engaged with the first one.
for that Switch version, it's
originally.
cool. Undead Nightmare was cool as well. I miss Rockstar doing stuff like that
Yeah.
and doing the expansions for their games, because like the success of GTA Online is obviously the thing that blew that out of the water as a thing that they do anymore.
Because they never did anything for Red Dead 2, did they? They had the online stuff that I didn't really hear about anyone picking that up. Like
It's still
It's going,
one of
but
the
I
more
mean-
popular like streaming games.
And they
Yeah.
stopped like updating it at some point
Yeah.
earlier than people, I guess, expected because
Yeah.
of how long GTA Online has gone for.
I just don't really ever, I don't really ever see anyone like posting about it or any chatter about it in any of our online groups. It certainly didn't seem to have the popularity of GTA Online.
I see a lot of people posting like 30-second clips of killing like a giant albino alligator and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's still happening, but it's not GTA Online. Yeah.
Because weirdly, that like epilogue bit kind of feels like DLC a little bit. Like that could have
right.
been something that you held back
6
and then
months
released.
later and-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool that was it. And like Red Dead 2 is complete. It's
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
and so was Red Dead 1.
Yeah.
And it's cool how they found a way to do an expansion for it that was just this like weird, silly side thing.
Yeah.
That was still pretty big, and I'm interested to see what you think of that.
It's
If
cool.
and when.
It's weird. Yeah, it is really weird playing it, and they're like referring to like, he's hunting down Bill Williamson and like talking about Dutch and being like, oh yeah, all those boys, but like trying to detach myself from that and being like, no, if you'd gone in fresh, this would have been like, oh yeah, what?
Yeah.
So who's this guy and who's this Dutch guy?
And in 1, they don't have like a ton of character to them, but then they did a great job in 2 of like reworking that backwards and making the people they were in 2 like really detailed and intricate, and then still fit really well with 1.
Yeah, it must
taking
have been-
those 2 characteristics they had in one.
Because
Yeah.
Dutch
Okay.
talks to you all of fucking 4 minutes total or something maybe in
Yeah,
Red Dead
right.
1.
He's like, I like gold. Yes. Oh, I think this is skin, yes.
It's
so good.
It's cool how Marston's just there hanging out. Like you sort of talk to him a little bit into, but he's just kind of around. And I imagine
and he's way younger in 2, and he's like more naive and a bit of a dork.
Yeah, you have those missions with like the son and stuff. You know, like there's a bit of bonding with Marston.
Yeah.
And then in 1, it again like transfers well to like his character in 1 does seem like the older version of the 1 and 2.
Right.
Yeah, fully.
And then I really liked in Red Dead 1 his like role in most of that story is to be like, man, what the fuck?
Yeah.
This is so stupid. Like he's bewildered a lot of the time in a fun way.
Yeah, but it's fun, and that's the main thing. Is just like, the performances are so good. It really does carry you through it. Like, but having a good time with it.
Yeah, nice.
Well, speaking of performances, it's the end of a long era. Was Mario 64 the first time that Charles Martinet voiced Mario? Was that the first time Mario had a voice even?
I think so.
It must
I'm pretty
have been.
sure.
Because
Yeah.
Baby Mario cried.
He cries.
And before that, I don't think he had a voice. So I guess Mario 64 was the first. I might be wrong about that. I should have looked that up.
This feels like a trivia thing where it's like everyone assumes that, but there's like
It's
some
like
obscure,
Hotel Mario
like,
or
they did a
something.
thing for like the 3DO or something.
Well,
where
there was
he's-
those like the anime series and the Western animated series and stuff.
He had it definitely in the Western one. He was like a New York plumber.
Yeah.
But for the games, I feel like that's most people's first memory of him speaking.
Right. It's certainly mine. And so the end of an almost 30-year era of Charles Martinet being Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi.
That's the big thing, right? Him doing
He's all of
anytime
them.
they recut. So Nintendo announced in a very weirdly Nintendo way, just a block of like a tweet that was like bit of news and then a big block of text, and it was like
12:41 a.m. Beeping. Nintendo's messaged you, "Hey, Charles is out." And you're like, "Fucking what?"
Yeah.
It's like, what's this announcement going to be? I was like, I got excited. I was like, is this them announcing the new console? They're just doing it.
Yeah,
no
yeah.
video, no image, just a big block of text.
You up?
Yeah.
Charles is out.
Pretty clever way of doing it, to be honest. Where like
A fiendish way.
giving him his like they said Charles Martinet is retiring from his role as like the voice of Mario and everything. He'll still be an Nintendo ambassador.
Yes,
Which
that's
kind
right.
of, it feels like, this is the other weird thing, is like, it feels like he's stepping into that role of like the guy I was saying before who became the like Nintendo Games Master back in the day, who they had this guy who they just kind of wheeled out publicly to be like, how good are these games?
From the stories I've heard about him in real life, I'm willing to bet that at least part of it is them going, we won't be able to stop him doing the voice at pubs.
No,
Right.
absolutely.
So we'll just say he's a Nintendo ambassador so that all of the time when he's out and about and he says, "Thank you for the coffee."
Yeah.
Well, he's a very,
it'll be
like-
that's Nintendo still, don't worry
It's
about
not
it.
copyright infringement.
We don't have to sue him like we do everyone.
Yeah.
I wonder if, I mean, I guess it is just them knowing that he's like such a big personality, so it is in their best interests to like, still bring him out at conventions and
Yeah,
he's...
and he'll
'cause-
want to do that stuff still, I'm assuming. Like, he's not said anything about it, but he hasn't said, I'm retiring completely or whatever.
Yeah,
So-
Right.
And also the whoever they've got doing it now, they're probably just like, well, this guy is just a good voice actor who doesn't have the same like goofy IRL spirit that
He does
Charles
Goofy
does.
as well?
Yeah, he does Goofy. So, this is the timing
this,
of it.
This is the thing that I think, is like kind of clever about it is they put out all the Wonder stuff and like that WarioWare game and all the trailers for that like back in June or July or whenever that was. And people were like, is that a different voice at the time? But then heaps of other people were like, no, I think it's still the same.
Yeah.
And I don't remember if we talked about that, but I didn't notice it. And now they've said, he's not in Wonder. He's not in the WarioWare thing. This is new people. So they gave them a chance to make an impression without being judged as the replacement.
Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of thought it was weird timing because, like, you had the movie and he's got the little cameo in that, and then
Right.
they started announcing all this stuff and people were speculating about it. I kind of felt like when I saw this yesterday, the fact that they then just sort of the fact that people were speculating felt a bit weird to me. It felt like it might have been a bit of a nicer timing thing around the movie to go like, because he kind of. Who is he in the movie? He's like Mario's dad. He's like someone in Mario's family.
He's the guy at the
He's playing Jumpman, right?
That's right.
and he says something like, "Those are my boys," or something like that. So the last line he recorded is saying like, Mario and Luigi are his boys.
I kind of felt like the timing of that would have made a bit more sense, and then you go clean slate. Here's the direct. We're announcing all this new stuff that's a different voice. But you're right. It
Inevitably, there would have been so much like, these guys are bullshit. This sounds nothing like Mario. And now we can live in a world where people are like, you thought it was him.
Yeah.
So
That is
not everyone.
Not everyone.
There was a lot
and now,
of people.
if you Wario, especially looking back on it now, like, he did sound a bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think at the time, maybe we were like, well, he's getting older, and he is getting older, and I assume just the voice is more taxing, or he's just at retirement age or whatever.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, so I wonder who the new person / people are, because it's pretty unlikely that you would get. That is the thing when you replace these guys. Is think that a person who does like 6 voices, it's pretty hard to find someone who can also do those exact same 6. Like, you have to divvy them up.
I think Nintendo haven't like said, and now it's these people, because I'm assuming they're also hedging their bets to be like, well, let's not get ourselves too in bed with them yet, just in case this day and age and whatever. But like,
it's Justin Roiland.
Oh god, I would hate to have to not buy Mario Wonder.
Yeah.
Well, Charles Martinet became, he became the guy and the personality because he'd been doing it so long. So
exactly.
I don't think it's going to be like this same. It'll probably just be like, you look in the credits when you get Wonder and it's like, that's the new guy's name.
And
it's not going to be this big like, ta-da.
People kind of have figured out or know or whatever, or it wasn't hard to find like who it is doing at least Mario.
Right, sure.
And I wonder, like, they maybe do just want it to be a bit of like, he's Mario. Like, maybe that's a bit of part of it too, of like Charles Martinet being this big personality in real life and people really knowing him. There probably is a little part of Nintendo where they want Mario to exist as just this like, almost like supernatural entity. It's like there isn't a real life person doing the voice of him. He's Mario. Yeah. He just exists.
Well, Martinet's my Keeley. I've never seen what he looks like.
Right.
And I also, I never played 64 at the time. Like, I don't really think of Mario having a voice at all. And when I do hear the, wahoos, I'm like, that's lame. So I'm already in that position of like, Mario's Mario. Yeah. Mickey Mouse is Mickey Mouse. I don't as far as I know, Walt Disney's still doing the voice. Like, I don't really.
They just unfreeze his head for seconds at a time.
They thaw out the mouth.
I don't think would he ever have done the voice? I don't think he
did.
Maybe not. Yeah.
But Disney's a great example where we were talking about with Illusion Island, where they just back in the day, these characters only need to talk for 2 seconds at a time, and now they make full animated series of them where Donald Duck's having to go.
And clearly
for
with
like
Mario,
5 minutes of text.
Yeah.
With Mario, any motherfucker in the world can do his voice.
Yeah.
Chris Pratt can do his voice. We don't give a shit. So but they're keeping the same Mario voice for the game.
That's it. I am so glad that Wonder has already been announced, and they've already said that that's not that the new person is doing him in that game.
Yeah.
Because if we didn't know about any upcoming Mario games and all they'd said was it's not Charles Martinet anymore, I would be going, oh God, they're getting Chris Pratt in full time.
Well,
they're merging the video game and movie universes.
You'd be a moron. As if Chris Pratt is full time doing Mario.
But it's like 6 wahoos a year. Like, you could do it because before
they couldn't afford that. He's a Hollywood superstar.
But they got him for the Hollywood version.
Yeah, but the movie made $1 billion.
They could tie in the contract.
$1 billion. It could. There's a world where it could like. David Harbour's in that fucking big, expensive, famous people do games plenty now. We could have lived in that world.
Well, I guess Kiefer Sutherland did. Well, he only did 1 game, right?
He did 2.
Games.
Like he did the 2 episodes of Metal Gear Solid 5.
But yeah, being Mario is a little different.
But if you're Chris
Kevin
Pratt,
Spacey being in Call of Duty,
but like it is. But like
in a lot of ways.
I'm still glad that like they're keeping.
Let me be Mario.
Keeping Mario. Letting me be Mario.
But you imagine if you're Chris Pratt and you've already done him in the movie, and then they come to you and go, "Wild proposition. Do you want for a little extra? It's not going to be the same as what you get for a film. Do you want to be him in the game? You just are him now. You now this. One of the world's most iconic characters is now 100% you." I think you'd be like, hell yeah.
Well, often Mark Hamill's voice is in the pull string Luke Skywalker and whatever. It could easily have been put in his contract, I think.
Or I would just think they want. I would be thinking that they're not going to have him be the wahoo. They're going to get him to start sounding if it's not Chris Pratt, it's a sound-alike where they're going to want to like merge.
Right.
That is what I would be worrying, that they're wanting to like have a bit more synergy with the world of the movies and the games.
Exactly.
And I'm glad that
whether it's Chris Pratt or
I
not,
don't have to have that like couple of months of fear before they announce a new thing, that we just know like
Exactly.
no, they're just going to continue. They're two kind of separate streams of the character.
They could have gotten like a Chris Pratt alike to be like, wahoo!
Yeah.
So like,
Whoa!
I'm
Whoa!
oh, Parks and Rec. Yeah, we had to use some lines from his other shows.
Yeah.
We couldn't afford it for the whole
we
day.
sort of ran out of money. We needed one more little sample.
But yeah, so Mario is still going to be the classic Mario we all know.
It is
and
weird
deeply,
that Martinet
deeply
hasn't
love.
weighed in yet.
Yeah, he's
I
out
think
there.
it's interesting that he hasn't posted a video. Being
Maybe
like,
he's enjoying his retirement or whatever, or maybe
Or he's got an NDA.
if
you
he
know.
takes it really badly, and he
Nintendo-
does start doing "Let Me Be Mario" videos. That
Yeah.
would be every Christmas day for the next couple of years.
yeah, but hey, that good job for all those games that you did, Charles.
Yeah.
30 goddamn years worth, and playing like four characters. Yeah,
Maybe more. I don't know if he
yeah,
did any
he's probably.
here and there.
Well, while you're in the booth, Charles, give us
Yeah,
a. We got
give us
this
a
new
toad.
little.
I've heard.
We've got a little rat we're thinking might be in one of the games. Give it a nudge. Yeah, okay, there we go.
I have heard over the years combined likely hundreds of hours of his voice going, wow.
I mean, there is part of me where you could tell me that it's like they are still using some takes they got of him back in 1999 in games that they're putting out now,
Yeah.
and I'd believe that. You know what I mean? Like,
Why aren't they?
Game to game, it's not like Mario's not delivering any like monologues to camera.
Yeah.
He's saying basically the same four things in every game.
And they've been saying that, like, when the speculation about this was happening too, of like, well, how much even in Odyssey was new? Because, like, he does say, because, like, there was nothing from Mario Galaxy where he's like, I'm wearing a weirder hat now, or whatever.
Yeah, now
It was
I'm
like,
a bee.
whatever.
But was he saying that in Odyssey? Like,
He
yeah.
had some other stuff, and they redo the wahs and the wahoos between the games.
Right.
For some
The
reason.
idea that you're in the
Yeah.
booth with him and there's like someone there who's got the tape of all the audio from the previous Mario game, and they're like, Charles, it's sounding a bit too similar. Come on, we need a fresh wahoo. You can't like just
Yeah.
having to listen back to it and be like, it's too similar, Charles. Come on, it's 2017. That's not going to fly anymore.
Yeah.
We've only got these voice lines forever, so we have to just cut together whatever he's going to say with what we already have. So the only things he can do is ask who somebody is. We can do that.
Yep.
Cut out the wah. You've got a who. And he can ask for water like a baby would.
Yeah,
Wah wah. That's it. That's
Yeah.
all Mario does forever now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Ben, you got to treat yourself to seeing what this cunny looks like. If you go to his Instagram account and this is what makes me think maybe he won't be taking this well. His Instagram handle is at Charles Martinet. It's a me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to
It
treat
could be
yourself.
Charles Martinet. It's same.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe it's
He's
an
not going to
in-joke
change
for
his
him.
name. He's still. I'm always going to be.
It's same Charles
Martinet.
Martinet.
It's
eh?
same.
Yeah.
Hey, it's like I always say. It's same.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, something that's not the same, or
Well-
in fact is the same.
Something that is very deliberately and almost prosecutably similar
Yes.
to Jet Set Radio.
Team Reptiles, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. Cool name for a game. Very cool name for a company.
Yeah.
Team Reptile.
Yeah.
From what I've played, which is, I think, most of it now.
Okay.
I've not finished it quite, but it's not super long. It's a cool game.
I'm really, really enjoying it.
I'm having a good time playing Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
I hate it. I really dislike it, and I never played Jet Set Radio.
Right.
Obviously, it's also similar to like Tony Hawk and Rollerdrome and stuff like that.
Yep.
But visuals. Really off-putting to
Okay,
me, and
that's-
I can't.
90% of it.
Yeah,
And
Yeah.
like it is doing the thing that it's trying to do very well.
Right.
Like this looks like a Dreamcast game in a lot of ways and like more technically advanced in some ways than a Dreamcast game could have been. But like the kind of low res textures,
Yeah.
the sort
I
of
checked
awkward
the
animations.
settings. I was like, what? Why does this look
Yeah.
so? Yeah.
You got to go learn about the Dreamcast and
Well,
then come
yeah.
back once you've
Yeah,
got
the
your history.
character models being like kind of flat
Yeah.
sort of head and then just like features just sort of drawn on.
It is like up and down Dreamcast style. Like that's what it's doing. And it does that really well.
Right.
So I didn't have a Dreamcast. I've never played Jet Set Radio. Always wanted to. And I am really loving this in spite of not having any attachment to the source material. I've seen clips and stuff of it. So like the format of this, is that the same as Jet Set Radio? Like the gameplay style and everything, they've taken all of that as well?
A lot of it. So I played Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future at the time and really liked them at the time. And this like is similar in a lot of ways, but has more story in it, which is the one part of it where I'm like, I could have done with a bit less of the cutscenes. They're quite long and they're quite often. That wasn't so much a thing. And
they're that like old school style of cutscene too, where you're just like
reading
cycling through text while a little character on screen just kind of bops around.
But a lot of the stuff of like there being these different weird identical looking teams who will all dance at the exact same time to threaten you, and they're like, show us what you got, motherfucker, and you've got to go around and spray paint everywhere to impress them. That is what Jet Set Radio is.
Right.
So this
Roller
is like
skates only in Jet Set, and in this you're doing skates, the board, and the bike.
So you're dropped
which all control exactly the same.
It's just a matter of
it's an aesthetic thing.
Yeah, you get dropped into an area. You have to get the attention of a local crew by going and graffitiing over their tags. So they'll sort of shimmer, so you can sort of see them from a distance. Some of them are like you're having to do a combo and do a lot of grinding to get up speed to do a jump to get onto this roof. And then once you've done enough of them, they'll challenge you to a
follow
like a
this
2
line
minute,
or like get more points than me, which are very easy to score. Like it's more about kind of platforming than like tricks like a Tony Hawk game.
But that's kind of the flow. You're going around looking for all the bits that you can tag. Then once you've done enough of them, you're doing like a point-based challenge. Or it'll be like, copy exactly what I did. So go along this kind of line. Or then there'll be like a showdown where it's like you've got 2 minutes to get more points than the other team. And it's kind of with some little variations here and there. There's also these in between those levels. There's more of like almost like your Mario Odyssey sort of standalone little, not so much open area, like kind of more direct platforming sort of segments that you do.
Sure, like to go and get every little place where you can plonk up a graffiti sign, which you're doing, by the way, by like when you skate past a area where you can tag, you're doing like basically a Android phone unlock screen.
Yes, a gesture.
A little gesture with your thing where so often I'm like, let me draw a pentagram. And you can't quite, but depending
you unlock
on
new ones that you can learn
which corner of the unlock thing you start from will dictate which particular piece of art and I do think it's art put on the walls.
It is art.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And this city is a hellscape future city that seems actually fine, but there's a lot of cops, and that's probably the other weakest part of this game is you're having to sometimes fight off like a helicopter or whatever.
Yep, little guy in a jetpack.
Yeah, snipers and stuff. And two things like the story-based, now it's time to fight things. The combat stuff is bad, and it's...
it's not built... It's weird because it is like... Yeah, they've really copied that era of game so precisely where it's like... really narrow, like throttled tutorial section, but then it just throws you into something where it hasn't told you what to do. So it's like, now fight these cops, and it's like, are they like combat control? Oh no, I'm just pushing the same button to jump, and like
if you do tricks near them, you'll whack them, and if you jump at the thing, it'll get bashed, and then eventually you can spray paint a bigger thing.
But it's kind of using
clunky.
these same controls for doing tricks. It's using these controls for something that they're just like not really built for. It kind of needs like one more little thing in there for combat, because the combat just feels
just because
a bit
they're making you do so much of it. Because in the Jet Set Radio games, you were just avoiding cops.
Yes,
really, like you could like spray paint them to slow them down, and it'd get in their eyes and whatever, and that was cool as hell, dude.
You have
ACAB, brother. But like you are being told to do so much of the combat that it is kind of irritating, because also when you're out in the world just between levels and whatever, you will get heat, which is like GTA stars.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that happens so quickly
Yeah.
when you're spray painting. They are swarming you with so many people that it is just kind of, you don't get time to enjoy the best part of the game, which is the more free form. Here's the level, try and get to all these places by grinding on the rails and by figuring out which billboards to jump on to get to this point where you can spray paint. That's the fun bit. And it is interrupted by these cops, which maybe it's trying to say something, but like...
I don't mind that element of it. It does have a thing where you can go into these little portaloos to change your outfit and lose the... I kind of like the thing of... You're right, it does escalate too quickly, and then at the max level there just is so much heat on you that it's kind of impossible to do anything.
You just have to go change, or you're getting shot.
I like the idea of it just sort of having, the better you're doing in the level, kind of filtering that in a little bit. I don't mind that.
It's just the speed of it. They're on you so quick.
And then there
that
are
you barely
areas
get time
where
to
it
spray paint.
locks you in with the cops, and it's like you just have to take out all of them. And those are just like, well, why are these in here? That's like not the fun part of the game. But yeah, the actual like skating around and doing the tricks, I'm finding it controls really well. It's got, I think it is very Tony Hawk when you're just in the areas, except it's done that rollerdrome thing of like, you can't really fail. Like you can end a combo, but you can't fall off. You can't, if you're midway through doing a flip in the air, you're not going to like stack it and then have to like reset or anything like that. It does a really good job of just being like, you just want to go and be a maniac and get speed and do as many fun tricks as quickly as you can. It's not about like pulling off the precision of like landing at the exact right angle or anything like that.
Right. It's not looking for skill like that. It's like more about have fun platforming around this place, because the
you've got like
grinds
a
are
double
infinite.
jump, so you can easily get yourself across to different areas.
Yeah, it's much more about just exploring this little level.
Yeah.
And like when you're grinding on a rail, you can lean into a corner and that will add to the multiplier that you're getting your score based on. So when you're doing the trick competition things, it's really about that. It's just about finding a good bunch of rails to go between and finding a line there and leaning in so often that the multiplier goes up.
Yeah.
And then just hammering the trick buttons in between.
Yeah. But you're right, Ben. Like it's so, like I've been wondering as I play it, it's so style focused, like the look and the music. And I happen to love that aesthetic and love all the music that it's playing. And I've been trying to think about like, if just the bare bones of this, if I was just playing this with a different look that wasn't as much to my tastes, or just a more bland kind of look to it, would I be enjoying it? And it's almost impossible to disconnect the two, because it is so just like drenched in the style of like, and there are too much cutscene stuff, but I'm not minding like the goofiness of the like futuristic story of like your character has like, his head's been chopped off and replaced with a robot.
By a
and
DJ with like a metal vinyl record.
Yes.
And so you're trying to find the person who cut your head off, and it's like, I'm kind of into all that. It's like the only way to solve this mystery is if we take over the city by graphing everywhere. It's like, all right, I'm in. Let's do it, boys.
That's from the Jet Set games too, where it's like, yeah, man, the most important thing in the world is graffitiing everywhere, and everyone thinks it's important.
Yeah.
And we got all these weird freaks who dress up like lizards and whatever, who are also so into it. I all that stuff, the very plain and almost egregious ripoff of Jet Set Radio that it's doing.
It's weird.
Is really appealing to me as someone who enjoyed those games at the time. But also it's like, should this be legal?
Yeah,
it's strange.
right.
You could put a screenshot of this side by side, and I think, the layman who's not as tapped into Jet Set Radio or this game would probably think they were the same thing. Like they are, like the palette they've used is so similar. Like all of the art direction is like basically the same. And I do love that thing where a developer has just made it clear that they're never going to go back to a certain game that people love. So, this is what's great about indie. Someone like this team can go. And what you're seeing about this online of people who love those Jet Set Radio games and wanted a new one are like, this is those games brought into a modern context. This is exactly what I wanted. This is the game this is the game Sega should be making right now to follow on the legacy of this game. So it's really satisfying those people.
It is, but it is also it's like going, hey, Led Zeppelin's back because Greta Van Fleet are playing a show. Like,
sure.
No, they aren't.
Sure.
Led Zeppelin was better.
Right.
But this is the closest that you're going to get.
But it is also like, this team are clearly very talented, but you sort of go, well, what would you say that they do? You know, there's not all that much of their own identity in this, where typically when people are making like a spiritual successor or something that's been very inspired by something, they start with the bones and then they kind of build their own stuff on top of it. And they, by choice, have not really done that with this. So if you went, what is a Team Reptile game? At the moment, you'd go, oh, they do a really good version of a ripoff of something else.
Right.
What would their next thing be? Like, where could they take their talents from here? Like, I really don't know. Like, probably just, I mean, that would be cool to be a dev who just like shamelessly takes old concepts that have not been touched in 15 years and goes, we're going to just do that.
This is G0.
Yeah.
Like,
I would not mind that at all.
Because I'm enjoying playing this, and largely because it's like, remember these fun games, but it is like the levels aren't as well designed. The music is great. I'm really enjoying the music.
Good, yeah.
It repeats slightly too often and like is just a little more grating than I remember finding the Jet Set Radio.
And it makes you do these challenges to unlock new tracks, which again is a bit like, just hammer me with 30 songs.
And those are the things I'm enjoying most, where you've got to go high five all of the guys who are like set up in try and do this line without breaking the combo. I like that sort of thing. That sort of thing's really up my alley. But like, it's not to the same caliber that those games were, but it is presented very closely to those in a way that is like cool for me as someone who has appreciation for those older games.
I'm finding it like a really good, just like semi-brainless kind of popcorn game.
Right.
Where you just get on, you have a session, you're not doing any of these like challenges that are like, too crazy. You're not like, getting to a point where you're throwing the controller across the room. No. You're not like sitting down to play it and really sinking into a story. You're just like, I'm listening to some cool music and I'm skating around.
And I think
drink a beer, do that for half an hour.
When you're like, when the game's letting you kind of flow with it, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it does interrupt itself a bit often with the cutscenes and with the cops and with all of that stuff for me. Like the best times I've had with it so far are when it's a little bit more open and going like, now jump around and enjoy yourself.
Yeah. But it's I'm really enjoying it. It's a shame. It's like it would be like such a perfect like Game Pass game. Dip in, do a couple of levels, see if it's to your taste. Because I mean, if you've looked at the screenshots and that aesthetic is not doing it for you, then I think that's so much like a part of
it's
that's
huge,
kind of there are certain games. It's like if you don't love the look of it, you can kind of get past it because what's underneath is like fully engaging enough. But this is like the actual gameplay of it is like fun but like pretty simple, really.
And I think it's likely that you would be more of a chance to enjoy the Jet Set Radio games than this maybe.
Than this pale copy, this pale imitation.
And like I am enjoying it though. Like I think it's fun.
These cold-blooded motherfuckers in a Team Reptile.
They've even got the same number of syllables in the name.
Oh my
Jet
God.
Set Radio, Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Oh
yeah.
It's all
Bomb Funk Cyberpunk.
getting like red
and young manhood.
red string tied between these games as though you've discovered that they're similar.
Yeah.
Going, oh man, it goes all the way to the top. So like,
it's funny. You mentioned, Tommy, like sort of the taking a concept that's been done but maybe left a bit by the wayside and adding actually adding your own identity. That's why I love Ollie Ollie World. It's it's Tony Hawk, but it's side scrolling, and then that style is like completely my taste.
Yeah.
So, and also music, the customization, the challenges, like that is my version of this game, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I never played it, but what was it called? Skatebird. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
That's kind of happened before they sort of did those Tony Hawk remasters. I feel like just Tony Hawk itself was a thing where people would go, oh, you're skateboarding, but at least even just, it's such a simple thing, but going like, oh yeah, you little birds that are skating around, it's Tony Hawk, but it's not like,
Right.
It's not using the same, getting the same like punk music in the soundtrack and
Sure.
having it be real and having it's like you're in a school now, like it is, still. There's that Tinykins game that came out last year because there'd been so long since a Pikmin game.
Right.
But it still was like different enough. It had its own art style. It was like you're a guy in a big environment. You're a little guy with like little creatures, but it had
Puzzles to solve.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't really doing the combat. It was still like
Right.
it was clearly a like, hey, we're frustrated that a new one of these hasn't come out in ages. Here's our go at it, but. Yeah, I mean, we want people to... we don't want people to just think of us as shameless rip-off merchants. And I weirdly do kind of respect that these guys are like, we just want there to be a new Jet Set Radio, so why fuck around with it?
And it's clearly a very reverential like interpretation of it. They clearly like the Jet Set Radio games because like with the music, I forget his name, but like one of the main people who did music for the first two that gave it so much of its character has done a song or two for this as well.
Right.
Like they've really
Fatboy Slim?
that's who it is. And they've nailed the sort of tone of what those songs were like in the original two games.
Right.
Yep.
I really like the song that keeps going ass 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 through like a talk box. But it's the level design in particular, you can just feel the difference between like how good those Jet Set Radio games were with it, and that this just isn't quite hitting that same thing. So I guess it means that if someone like yourself, Ben, who comes to this without...
I can relate to that.
without the like, give me more of
Finally.
this thing I liked, so you're not taken in by the aesthetic of it, and it sounds like repelled by it.
Yeah.
If they then don't have the same level of like, but the game is so solid underneath.
Yeah, sure.
And it is decent, but like, yeah, it's not on the same level.
You wonder if Sega are looking at... Because, the people who have come to this wanting a new Jet Set are really into it. You wonder if Sega are looking at that and then, if you had any sense, you'd go, all right, well, yeah, if we do a remaster and like properly polish it off and make it current gen.
They did one of
people are
Jet Set
gonna-
Radio, like, but that was like 10 years ago
Yeah.
now or
Yeah.
something. And
Or just do a sequel if
Yeah.
they still have the rights, if there's,
Yeah.
I'm assuming probably a part of why they haven't is because I think a lot of the budget for this game went to the music.
Right.
And like doing such a music focused game, it was the same with the Tony Hawk remasters where like music is expensive. Drums don't buy themselves.
That's so true.
But yeah, I don't know why they haven't done it.
And it's Hi-Fi Rush as well, like this kind of game, this sort of music focused platform. Obviously that is like a literally like
Rhythm game.
Rhythm combat, but it's swirling around, bring back the original.
Now's the
That's
time.
I mean, that's kind of what I was thinking as I've been playing this is like, Hi-Fi Rush in its sort of style didn't really do it for me, and this does because it's a little goofier, it's a little more cartoony. There's less of like there's less of like the voiced protagonist. It's like, this guy, he's got a little robot head. It's like this is so much more in my wheelhouse than like the writing of Hi-Fi Rush was, which is
Right.
similar music based, all style.
Yeah.
You're either that either grabs you or it doesn't. But it's hard to know whether to how to recommend this one.
I think if you liked the Jet Set Radio games and aren't so fussed if one of them were to come out that wasn't as good as the older ones, then this is cool. This is that.
And it for me, always wanting to have played those and never having access
Right.
to them. I'm really enjoying, and not having that comparison to I'm finding the level design kind of fine. I'm having a good time with it. So
But I
if
get
those have
that
always
if-
appealed to you aesthetically, maybe you'll enjoy it.
Right.
And if you've got no nostalgia for that, then you might come to be like, why does this look like a Dreamcast game?
Yeah.
But
Bring back Fur Fighters, remake, do a
Toy Commander
do
2.
a rip off of that one
Ooh.
next.
Man, the Dreamcast was so fucking cool. I remember my cousin had a Dreamcast, my older cousin, and he, oh God, I remember sitting with him and playing Shenmue and shit.
Oh.
And we got to at the end of Shenmue, there's a bit where you fight a bunch of people. And I remember vividly him saying, this is the sort of thing that turns a good game into a great game.
Oh,
That's where I got all of my reviewing acumen
That's
from.
great. A guy from my high school.
Just loving Shenmue.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
A guy from my high school has been selling a bunch of old video game stuff, and he put up a Dreamcast the other day, and I was very tempted. He also put up, this made me laugh, he put up a bunch of PlayStation stuff, and there was like in the top corner of the image, there was something that he'd kind of like crossed out, but sort of lazily with just the just the draw tool.
Yeah.
Like, and it was a gun, and I was like looking at it thinking, for a second I thought, this is so funny that this guy owns a handgun and he's he's just like, oh, I don't want people to see this. And then I went kind of digging around, and he's like, Facebook Marketplace like deletes this images of this, but this is a PS like gun. And I was like, damn, there was part of me being like, holy shit, this guy just owns a handgun, and
he's laid
like
it out,
not
with
bothered
the-
to move it. He's like
Yeah.
taking the photo and then been like, I can't be fucked taking it again.
Yeah.
I'll just cross this out. I was like, wow, I've just stumbled across the fact that this guy from my high school is the dumbest motherfucker of all time. But as it turns out, the Joker was me. Well, that's going to do us for this week on Filthy Casuals. Thank you for listening. Head to filthycasuals.com.au for the links to all the stuff that we have going on.
Yes, when we confirm fully our PAX thing, we'll obviously be posting that everywhere. But if
It'll be on their schedule.
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
I think we have to
course,
send them a picture of an eraser and say, won't be needing this.
Yeah,
and
true.
that's the confirmation.
Cross out our gun in the background.
But yeah, if you were already going to PAX, which like I said, I think has to be the case. Saturday evening time, leave it free. We'll probably go out for a beer afterwards.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to see as many of the filth as possible.
Yeah, we'll do something fun for sure.
Yeah.
So check that out. Check out the Patreon. Get a bonus episode every week where we talk about movies and TV shows and other pop culture stuff that ain't video games.
Yeah, we're doing a few weeks of like genre stuff.
Yeah.
Soon, starting next week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sort of Agatha Christie style murder mysteries, fantasy stuff,
Yes.
and sci-fi stuff will be
Yeah.
the three.
Yeah, so just a big grab bag of films and stuff. Rewatching some ones we've seen.
Yep.
But
Be some fun over there.
Yeah.
Check all of that out. Check out the YouTube. We've got the Let's Plays. We've got one-off videos. We've got video of the episodes of the
Yes.
show every week if you want
You
to
get
watch
all of the Bandcamp episodes if you sign up for the Patreon too.
Yes.
And if you're not on the Patreon but you still want to listen to them, they're on Bandcamp. And the most recent one was a thing where we tried to make the greatest game ever by taking elements of other games and we called it Frankenstein's Monster.
Yes.
Let me tell you, I think people are confused.
it. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's funny.
And it's a
Yes.
shame because it's a very funny couple of hours of audio.
Yeah.
And that's available for whatever price you want to pay. As
$1
long as that price is at
Australian
least
or
$1.
Yeah. But yes, you're right. If you sign up to like the content tier of Patreon, $10 a month US, I believe, if it's still that.
I think so.
Yeah, you get all of the premium episodes, the bonus stuff. You get to weigh in on big games. You get to
Yeah.
see
The whole kit and caboodle.
early. There's a whole bunch.
It's
of
all
stuff.
there, baby. It's all good
Yeah,
stuff.
Yeah.
We'll see you next week. We're going to be talking Armored Core and we're going to be talking the Gran Turismo movie.
Oh, are we
I gotta
still?
see that
Okay.
shit.
I thought that was the
okay.
plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
Factor
Yeah.
that in somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
We'll at least be talking Armored Core.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to end up having to see it on my birthday. Happy fucking birthday to me.
Yeah.
Suffering through a terrible movie.
Fuck.
All right, so
I've heard it's
yeah.
Yeah,
which-
I haven't heard it's terrible.
No,
to
We'll be
fair.
chatting
Yeah.
that if you want to make time to
Yeah.
check that out before next week's episode
Yeah.
drops. Thanks for listening, guys. We'll see you next time, and as we say here at the end of every episode of Filthy Casuals.
It's a no longer to me.
No.
There'll be a million headlines that say exactly fucking that.